none other than Slackin. We have a
How's it
match.
going, everybody?
Oh, let you talk. We have a match between Riv and MM today. They have chosen Orbital TS for the first map and Turnpike CTF. It looks like MM have been struggling to get a fifth player, so Riv have actually agreed to do a 4v4 today, which will be the first for the Flawless Urban Tour League.
Is it live?
Not just yet. I'm still on the home screen page. That's map selection. Let's go to gameplay. So we actually have a 90-second delay, Slackin, so the stream won't go live for another 15 seconds.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, but you should be able to see through Discord what I'm on, what screen I'm on.
Yeah.
Looking at the ping difference here, it doesn't actually look like we've got a huge difference between the two teams, which is good to see.
Blue team wins.
Yeah, I think most of the players are American or North American, should I say?
Yeah.
I know that Kite's playing from France, I believe. I honestly am excited to see this match. I think that this is going to be a fun match to watch. You've got some good players on both teams, and I know Rev has some good strategies they like to run, so I think it's going to be a great game to watch.
Yeah, this is two teams I think very well matched off in terms of skill level. So it's going to be actually probably one of the more exciting games to watch so far.
I completely agree. I'd be curious to see which four Rev decides to go with their lineup here. They've got quite a few players to pick from. Are they going to go with their absolute best lineup, or are they going to try to give MM a little bit of a softer lineup for practice here?
Yeah, it's a really good point actually. I'm not sure which of the two I prefer.
I'll tell you, they got Kite in, they got Carter and Jux and Anger in, so that's a pretty solid lineup. And they've got over on the other side, you got Binge and Grab, and Knifey, Sasha. Sasha's pretty good, and Wicco. Yeah, I mean, MM's got a pretty solid lineup tonight.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty solid lineup. I know Binge has been coming out of the woodwork. About a year ago, he just started to join in on Pugbot, and we were around the same skill level. Well, I stopped playing Urban Terror for a little bit, started doing some maps and playing some other games. And boy, yeah, no, Binge and Grab skill level is just certainly gone through the roof, especially from what I saw last year. So it's good to see him part of a team. It's good to see him. It's good to see him playing. Be interested to see though, like with 4v4, you can't quite cover the whole map the same. So it's actually gonna be interesting how teams play this.
Yeah, that is a really good point, because, you know, Rev is a very strategy-oriented clan. It's very clear when you play against or with Rev that they have some very clear strategies that they try to play, and given the down player, they're gonna have to toss it up with their strategy a little. They're not gonna be able to play their normal strats.
It kind of makes me wonder, like if they're gonna just go round by round, if they're gonna drop off a player on one side of the map. Based off what we're seeing here on the mini map, they're still trying to cover most parts of the map, but yeah, we're not really seeing like a two people push down one lane. Looks like we're starting now. Both teams readying up with 4v4.
Here we go. It's go time. So we're watching Carter here. Carter's actually just come back to the game just recently. He took a long extended break, kind of like myself, and hadn't played for a long time and just started playing again. But he's definitely been on point.
Yeah, one of those players I've seen, even though he's taken a big break, certainly didn't forget how to play. Well,
No, not at all.
that's the angle there. Kite making the pick in servers, leaving it 2v2, though Rev is split up. They're split up big time.
All right. Well, now we got Knifey versus Jux and Kite. Knifey's a pretty solid player, although I see he's got the SR8 out. Well, he's got the UMP now. Oh! Hit them both at the same time. I think he would have been a little better off to try to head the one box and maybe pick one off and then, you know, only have one to
Yeah,
try to
that SR8 down at single is certainly very overpowered. I know it's a very controversial spot and competitive. Juck's not making the pick under red. Angle will clean it up, leaving it with Wicco to clean up.
Oh, this is going to be close. Oh!
Oof.
Got the bleed kill.
Unfortunate. Looks like we're seeing a push into Globe.
Let's see what Binge and Grab can pull out here. Oh, you better hurry. They're going to be full med. He's going to get pinched. This is common. Rev does this all the time. They're gonna get together, and one's gonna come out one side, and the other's. Oh, they didn't. They just both came the same way.
Wow, with those full meds, it didn't really stand a chance.
No, he was sitting at 6%.
Sasha, last one alive is single.
He's trying to run away.
Team wins.
Didn't make it very far.
Unfortunate. 4 points difference here.
Yeah, I'm surprised Binge and Grab hasn't got a single kill yet. I don't know if he's playing the med or if maybe he's just a little off his game tonight.
Let's have a look. He's got the SR8. That might be why. No Kevlar as well. Which is not actually something we often see with competitive. Like in Capture the Flag, yes. Team Survivor, not so much. So those Kevlar shots, those torso shots actually doing.
Yeah,
extra 20%
to me,
damage.
honestly, when it comes to TS, one of the biggest things I've always thought was some players are so focused on getting the kills, they forget that in TS, really, the objective is not as much to kill as it is to stay alive.
Oh, completely. Like it's in the name of the game type. Team Survivor.
Yup.
Sasha, last one
got
alive
taken
here.
down. One of my favorite places on this map, if you're solo, is actually hanging out there by Spaceman and servers.
Yeah.
You know, especially you can kind of hide behind him if you know they're at 3 box, and it kind of throws off the vision a little, and you can use that to your advantage.
I've seen quite a few clutches take place from this one spot. It's very like the two pillars almost reminds me of like Turnpike pillars. You know, like it just has that maneuverability around them.
Yeah, it's got the maneuverability with cover from multiple angles. Like, you can only really be caught from 2 different places, whereas, you know, like here at Electrical, you basically have 3 angles you got to worry about.
Yeah.
But there, you know, you only have, you know, 2 angles you got to worry about. Oh.
2v2 here.
Knifey got that SR8 on Jux.
Splitting up, allowing Rev to get the pick.
Blue team wins.
Double done by Carter. Wow, that was nice.
Nice.
Halfway
it
through
was.
the jump too. Very good.
Hey, Carter's playing pretty hot. I'm a little surprised Anger's a little bit lower. Is Anger playing as a med tonight? No,
No,
doesn't
no.
appear to be. Jux is killing it tonight in the game.
He is absolutely killing it.
You know, it's kind of funny. I normally when I see Jux in scrims and stuff, I kind of see him more as like the leader, maybe not the strongest gun, but kind of keeps his team on track and keeps everybody, you know, the strategy in play well. You know, really a true leader of the team. And you know, tonight he's really showing, hey, I'm not just the leader. I'm also a good gun.
I can play too. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I haven't had a lot of opportunity to play with him. Oh, Kite not managing to get any of those shots. Knows he's got the SR8 though. What I was gonna say is I mentioned this in another stream, but the male hitboxes are actually larger than the female hitboxes, and I thought this was common knowledge through a lot of the competitive players, but I'm not sure that Jux actually realizes.
I'm not sure either. You know, it's funny because I learned this years ago, of course, but I initially started playing as the female simply because I didn't like the sounds that the male character made when you would get hit. So I would play as the female. And then later on I learned that. I'm like, oh, maybe that's why I'm a little less hit than some people.
Oh, wow.
Oh! Epic nade.
That was pretty good. I was expecting that to do some damage. I wasn't expecting that to land.
Yeah, I know. Me neither. You know, sometimes nade. Oh, look at that nade. Sasha had a good nade there. Nice. What I was gonna say though is sometimes nades aren't even necessarily about doing damage as much as it is thwarting the rush or creating a distraction. They are just as useful in those in that aspect as they are as actually doing damage.
Oh, completely. Even I have previously used nades to throw off my opponent on where he thinks I am.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You throw the nade one way and then you go the other. They're watching the one way and you sneak up behind them.
Yep. Binge and grab, last one alive, SR8 versus 3 autos. It's not looking too good for him.
Blue team wins.
No. I honestly feel like, I really feel like the Mudcat Marauder clan needs to put down the SR8s and pull out some autos. I mean, they're getting outgunned pretty heavily, and I don't think anybody on Rev is using a sniper, are they?
We had one before, but I think they've put it down. Now they've realized.
Blue team wins.
SR8, honestly, on Orbital.
Well, SR8
On Orbital.
On Orbital is actually quite powerful, but when you have a full team,
yeah,
not playing with a full team, yeah, I just don't think you have that support.
Well,
that
and they
need.
don't just have one; they actually have at least 2. I know Knifey and Binge and Grab are both using SR8, and you know, I mean, an SR8's the player who should stick back a little and have the autos up front. And you know, when you have multiple SR8s on such a small map like Orbital, Yeah, I mean, they can rush you and they're going to overpower you.
Yeah, and yeah, completely. And I mean, what we're seeing as well is MM not quite sticking together the same way Rev is. Rev is just staying as one whole unit, which I know you being an early Urban Terror player is actually a little bit reminiscent of pre 4.0 play, where everyone in Team Survivor would just be doing big loops sticking together.
Yeah, that's actually one of the biggest things I noticed when I came back to the community was, you know, the way that TS is played is much different now. Now you have, you know, pretty stringent positions and they try to cover all the routes on a map, whereas in the past it was more the team stuck together and moved together.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of how Rev is playing tonight.
And I think in a 4v4 situation,
Team wins.
it's actually not like really not a bad tactic.
No, I
Especially
completely agree.
especially when you can see that your opponent is playing with the current meta of splitting up, you know, or sticking in duos. I mean, they're kind of just getting picked off one by one here.
That's exactly what's happening. They're getting picked off one by one, and then Rev drops back meds and then moves on together. And you know, I mean, it really doesn't matter how good of a gun you are. It's hard to go 1v2 directly. If two people are moving in on you at the same time, they're just going to be able to get more hits quicker than you can.
Yeah, no, definitely. Especially with a game that only has 20 snaps per second.
Yeah. Jux is really playing the angles well. That's one thing I noticed about Jux is he knows the strategy of the game and like I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of here, but he knows how to play the game.
He has a lot of good game sense. Like map knowledge really helps, and I can see that he knows all the angles, and he's moving through from one angle to the next angle, like which is quite smooth actually. It's something you see a lot of the top tier players doing. But map knowledge certainly plays a big part in skill level. It's not all about just pointing and clicking, aiming. But being able to catch your opponent off guard and also being able to suspect where they are before you come out of an angle. Which I can see he's doing quite well actually, and like it's no surprise that this was their pick. It seems like even if it's 4v4, they have the map knowledge down to a T.
You know, it's a little weird sometimes when you're watching other people play. I don't know, it feels different when you're not actually playing.
I certainly feel, I mean, it's obvious. I'm a lot more observant. I'm not having to put in the key entries, so then I can be a lot more critical of what people are doing and a lot more observant of what's happening across the whole map. Like I can watch the mini map, and everything. Like it's actually a lot easier to pay attention while you're watching and not playing, which comes to no surprise really.
You know, and it's kind of funny too, because now that you mention that, it's one of the things actually when we used to play competitively, you know, we used to do quite a bit was there would be a 6th person on the team who would just be subbed and they would just kind of help with game sense. You know what I mean? Like, you know, hey, you got an opening over here, or hey, you know, something's going on there, or I heard a footstep here, whatever the case may be. Oh, we got a pause by the Mudcat Marauders.
A little late on the pause, if you ask me. I certainly would have paused. Maybe like if the round deficit was around like yeah below 10. Like I'm not really seeing it so much in Urban Terror, but with Counter-Strike, you certainly see a lot of the teams using these timeouts in order to slow down the game, like and slow down the steamrolling, the snowballing that the opposite team is doing, like kind of mess with their flow a bit.
Yeah, and
Though
they
I suppose,
unpause.
go on, sorry.
I was just gonna say that was a very short pause too. Actually, you're right, and I agree with you. And I would have held the pause a little bit longer, to be honest.
Mm.
That pause time can really help cool down an opponent, you know, because it really is an adrenaline thing. You know, when you start a match and you're in it, you know, you get that adrenaline going and you're just playing, and you know, you can really get on fire. That pause will, you know, kind of cool down your opponent if they're playing really well, because you know it gets that adrenaline starts to wear off if you're sitting there waiting.
Yeah, no, correct. And like conversely as well, the morale for MM can kind of be reset a little bit when they just have like a little bit of a timeout, you know, reset the mentality and be like, hey, you know, we still have a chance. We just need to change XYZ.
Yep, I completely agree. This really is. I wonder, you know, the Mudcat Marauders said their fifth got called away due to an emergency at work, and I wonder who the fifth player was going to be. I wonder if it was Mudcat himself, or if they were going to have one of the other players playing tonight.
Hmm.
Yeah, Rev really is sticking together pretty tight. Every time there's 2 or 3 of them together.
Like every time you watch on the minimap, they don't often leave one stranded. They'll be moving in duos, and the duos won't really split too far off from each other. And
Yeah,
so
they really are.
they're really like, I mean, here they've left open red room and servers, but both duos are still within, you know, a quarter or half of the map of each other.
Yeah.
Really
Yep,
being able to
sticking
support
together
one
to
another,
where they could move back. Like if one starts getting hit, the other one could be there in a split second.
I'm just seeing in the chat some people are wondering what's up with the 4v4. So if you have just joined us, MM weren't able to get their fifth, as Slackin said he was pulled away due to an emergency. Rev had a couple of options. It was on to Rev to decide whether or not they wanted to reschedule, or whether they wanted to accept a 4v4, or the fourth option was actually to skip the 4v4 and Rev play with 5 and MM play with 4. So it was actually quite nice for Rev to decide 4v4 was okay, and that's why we're seeing a 4v4 being played through. Rev still having 2 subbed.
Yep, Rev definitely took the noble option of playing 4v4, because they could have forced Mudcats Marauders to play 4v5, and you know that would have especially on a map like Orbital, that could be a huge difference.
Oh yeah, completely. And if you guys aren't aware as well, this isn't the only match we're going to be streaming tonight. We have 2 matches back to back. We have Rev versus MM and
TT versus MM.
TT versus MM. Thank you. I was going to switch to Discord, but I realized that was going to make the screen go black.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know anything about the TT clan. You have any insight on them, Del?
I know 1 or 2 players from Pugbot. And I played in the last couple of years. They do have some interesting players. Though they do have players I haven't heard of before. So I'm wondering if these are not new players, but new to competitive, or if they are old returning players. See, that's the thing. Like, I'm from New Zealand, as most people know, but the competitive scene in New Zealand, Australia actually stayed quite closely knit up until about 2013, 14, where we saw clans start to mingle with the international scene a lot more. So it wasn't really until like later in the game that I actually started to become more familiar with a lot of the names from the international scene.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
which is
one of the
unfortunate.
biggest things I noticed when I came back was, you know, in the past it was the Aussies were kind of off on their own little island. I mean, both metaphorically and literally and figuratively speaking. And since I come back, they really are. They're much more a part of the whole community instead of on their own little thing out there. And I think that's awesome. I'd love to see more of that.
It's kind of hard to keep your own scene going when there's less than 10 active players.
Yeah, I although, you know, it seems like, honestly, since Flawless came back, or has come out, it seems like, it's a little bit more active than I was expecting, which, makes me happy. I'm glad to see that there's as many teams as there are and as many active players as there are.
Yeah, it's always swings and roundabouts. Like we see that every year with Open Terra. It kind of follows the European winter. Obviously, as the sun comes out, people stop playing Urban Terror across the world for some reason.
It's kind of funny because it's kind of the opposite of what I would expect. I was kind of expecting that, you know, although this is the American in me, I don't know. Do other countries do the summer break for school like America does?
We have summer break, but obviously it's during our summertime. So, like here in New Zealand, oh, headshot on Rev with the SR8, that was pretty nice.
That was a nice shot.
Here in New Zealand, like our summer is between December to February, so school finishes somewhere mid-December and starts again early Feb. I know in Europe it's somewhere in the middle of the year they have the summer holidays. Um, and yeah, it's quite interesting because the contrast of having something as small as like Christmas in the summertime. See, for me, I associate Christmas having a barbecue, going to the beach, um, hanging out in jandal shorts and a singlet. And then just the other year, well, that's the first map concluded. I'll finish the story another time.
Yep, 32-0 going to Rev. Honestly, that could have been worse given the situation. You know, I think Mudcats Marauders gave it a pretty good try there.
It certainly did. Wondering how they're gonna match off with CTF. Not sure why we've gone to Sanctuary, though.
Well, I can answer that question because that is one of my servers, and the default map is set to Sanctuary when there's not a map cycle set up. And being one of the competitive servers, it doesn't have a map cycle.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would be very interested to see 4v4 on Turnpike because this is one of those maps with CTF where you really actually have to cover those flanking angles. Like you have to cover those flanking routes.
Yeah, this is going to be challenging on 4v4 for either team because, you know, and it's such a small map that with wave respawn, it could make a huge difference in how you play, because if you kill the other team, you can cap within one wave easy.
Yeah.
And be set up for a recap.
Yeah. I'm hoping MM can find a fifth before the second game. With TT, I won't be disappointed, but 4v4 is certainly a lot different to the 5v5 games we see matched up. So I'm hoping
Yeah, I
that
agree.
well, we should have at least another half hour until that match is played, but
Red team wins.
Now this would be
yeah.
funny if Rev. Who's Rev playing now? Oh, they're gonna put in BN for Jux. BN has a very unique play style. It's not your typical competitive play style. And
It's actually not, but you can see it's a playstyle that comes from years of being like a top scorer in pubs. And there's anything wrong with that. I mean, that's the majority of where I think not a lot of players' playstyles come from, but a lot of the people who kind of dabble in competitive, but prefer to play pubs. And I get that, like, I get it. Sometimes competitive is a bit too serious. But you're right.
Yeah.
BN has like a real unique style. Actually,
And I'll tell you, it's funny because her style is one that will frustrate a lot of competitive players if you're playing against her, because you expect certain things when you are playing competitively, like the way somebody's gonna play, and when they start playing something totally different than what you're expecting, it can be rather frustrating, you know, especially when somebody pulls out a PSG in a scrim or a match. You're like, why are they using... Oh, I just died again! Jesus, put that thing away!
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think this would be a fun one to watch. And I'll tell you, BN has played a lot of CTF. Granted, more in pubs than in competitive, but CTF is a much different ball game than TS, and she's a good CTF player.
Oh, definitely. CTF is one of those game types, less so than TS, where movement really matters.
And we are live now, actually. Let's see who grabs the first flag. Alright, we got Kite with the red flag. Oh, respawn now. Oh, can he pull it off? Oh boy.
Managing to get back safely. Would you agree that Rev are on the easier side for CTF?
Yeah, I do believe the blue side's easier myself.
Benja grab, last one alive. I don't think he's gonna make it.
Oh, we're down 2-0 under a minute. Carter was a pub star back in the day, part of the Alpha clan.
I do remember
Watch him.
actually. I was a part of Alpha myself. Once upon a
Oh, were you?
time.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It was one of the first clans I was part of.
I know that you and Alpha Wolf have always been close, and he's somebody that I've known for a very long time myself. He used to play on Death's TDM back in the day.
Yeah, it's going back a while.
That was a fun server. I had so much fun on that TDM server.
Oof, Carter not able to make the pick. Both teams have the flag. 45 seconds on Hot Potato. This is where it gets interesting, Slackin, because it's now essentially a 3v3, right? Because like Vandal can't go return the flag. Though unfortunate respawn time there.
Oh, John Wick was looking for him and just missed him.
Though I don't know if Vandal knows if the flag has been reset. Oh no, there we
There we
go.
go.
He's just made the cap.
Yeah, you are right. It is interesting, especially when you're playing a 4v4 in CTF. If both flags are gone, you know, you have a player who's just gonna have to camp with the flag and is, you know, essentially, you know, useless for until the flag's back.
Carter knew where he was coming from. That's a team down.
DN grabbed the flag. Nice. John Wick's gotta check that right angle when he comes out of middle. That's the second time I'm watching on another stream there, and John Wick keeps coming out of middle and not checking his right flank and getting taken out.
It looks like Riv have a nice divide here. They got 2 on defense, 2 pushing offense. Not really worrying about any of this mid play or flanks. Seems to be working out for them.
Yep. DN with that pistol. She is good with that pistol. I hate it. Like her, you remember Vex Civil, of course.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was someone else that was so good with the pistol, it was frustrating.
You know, it actually made me wonder, like, between the methods, right? Because I only learned about macros as I got older. Back when I started playing Inventory, I didn't even know what macros were. So I just assumed people would use the mouse wheel, right? I didn't think that people could click that fast, like surely. But I actually wouldn't have a clue. Like, do people use 2 fingers on one button? Do they use a mouse wheel? Do they use a macro?
Have you never seen Fonducci's video?
I have not.
Oh, that's where the whole glove meme came from. Somebody accused him of using macros for the pistol, so he actually made a video of him playing where the video was of his hand on the mouse wearing a glove that said Fonducci.
Oh, no way.
So yeah, I honestly back in the day I tried using a macro for the mouse, and I was better just by trying to shoot naturally than trying to use the macro, even though I was slower.
Yeah, same. I dabble with macros a little bit just to try to figure it out and see if it was worth it, but in all reality I felt like I was better just without them. Like and like in a sense it's not cheating, but it is definitely an exploit. Like
Yeah,
you're not playing naturally.
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, for me, I'm just not, honestly, I'm not quick enough with the pistol for it to be effective for me. So I stick with the deagle. And, you know, when the deagle's such a heavy hitter that as long as you got a little bit of good aim, it's a pretty effective weapon.
Oh, definitely. Like watching Maku with the pistol the other day, the DE, sorry, and he was just so calm and collected, making hits like it was no one's business. It was quite elegant to see.
Yeah, you know, I gotta go back and check that. I didn't actually notice that. Was that the night I was at work? Probably.
They were playing versus, I can't remember who it was, but it was a complete steamrolling. And
yeah.
So maybe just a little bit of practice.
I'll tell you, you know what? Mudcats Marauders are doing a lot better here on CTF. I mean, I know it's still 9-zip, which that's not exactly a great score, but they are actually pushing it against Rev. I mean, there's a couple of times they've had the flag and held on to it for a little while. And, you know, I think if they had their 5th, I think this could have been a much closer match.
Definitely, definitely. I'm really hoping they can get a 5th in time for the next map. I got Solitary in the chat here telling me to click faster. What you don't know, Solitary, is I'm actually a right-handed in real life, but I play with my left hand on the mouse. which,
Really?
yeah, it's bizarre, but I tell you the reason why, Slackin, is when I first started playing games, we didn't have a mouse. I was playing games with both hands on the keyboard. Like first Quake, and Doom, Wolfenstein, I only had a keyboard to play with, so I was using the directional keys and WASD already. And then when we did get a mouse, I was like 5 or 6 at the time, right? And you have to think, like, fuck man, what were you doing at 5 or 6 years old? But anyway, like, I was already using the directional keys, and in my mind, the directional keys made sense for movement, and so I kept them like that and put my mouse in the left hand. And even though I was right-handed, well, still, even at that time, I don't even think I knew I was right-handed because I hadn't even started writing yet. You know, I was that young, man. So I hadn't
Yeah,
even
you
figured
know,
out if I was left or right-handed, and so I just stuck with it all these years.
it's funny you say that because when I started playing, of course, was many years ago. Well, I did have a mouse. I had an old serial mouse. Most people here probably have no idea what that even means. But I had an old serial mouse. But yeah, the arrow keys, the directional keys, that's how I started playing. And because I played that way for, I don't know, probably a decade before anybody switched to WASD, any of the games did by default, I've always played with the directional keys. To this day, I play with the directional keys.
Yeah, it's
Well,
actually quite interesting how the contrast, like the well, rather like how you started can influence how you continue to play. I mean, my older brother, he also for a long time had the same setup that I did. You know, he played left-handed even though he was right-handed, and he used the directional keys just like I used the directional keys. But somewhere along the way, in the last 5 years or so, he actually switched to playing right-handed with the mouse and then WASD. And I don't know how he managed to switch, but he doesn't do too badly. But yeah, like for myself, thinking about switching now, I don't even think I could do that. Looks like we're gonna see one last cap, maybe not.
Oh, yep.
Yep. 5 seconds on the clock. I don't think they're gonna make the 16th.
Nope. 15-0 in the first half. That was, honestly, I think Mudcat Marauders did a lot better than after the TS round. I was kind of expecting a little bit more of a blow up, but I think they did pretty well.
They definitely didn't do too badly for having one team member down. I'm interested to see how the team scores will shape up this half, and if Rev will swap someone out.
One other thing I would say about Mudcats Marauders here is, you know, they really have the disadvantage to Rev to start with, because Rev is an established clan who's been playing together for a long time, and they have strategies. They know how each other plays. They know how to play off of each other. And that makes a huge difference in, you know, how, you know, taking home that win. Whereas Mudcats Marauders, I mean, half these players, I don't think they ever played together competitively before the start of Flawless League, which was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
what we saw in the more professional team matches the other day is that team synergy really does make a difference. Like, it really does make a difference when multiple team members come out at a certain angle at the same time. There really isn't an easy way to defend that. Especially if your team doesn't have the same synergy. That's gonna be an early cap for Rev, 20 seconds in.
Oh, is it live already? Oh, it is live. Sorry, it's went to check a couple of pings I got on Discord. I didn't realize they readied up while I was looking. Carter's playing with the pistol as well. I thought Carter was the Deagle user. I told Carter I was gonna give him a shout out, so I guess my shout out to him is he's camping in his hatchback, guarding the flag. Oh, Carter's gonna kill me for that. Tell you, this is a little bit slower. Remember what we were talking about blue side being easier? Rev was already 3 caps up when they were on blue side by the 1 minute mark. And here, they're a minute and a half in, and they've only got 2 so far.
Yeah, we're seeing like Rev definitely the stronger team. We're not really seeing a lot of action through mid. BN with the PSG, the infamous PSG you're talking about.
PSG in a match. That's what I'm talking about. The thing is about it is it's almost as much of a psychological impact as it is an actual impact, like on the kills. Because when you know that if you come around that corner, she's going to be sitting there with a PSG, it's going to change the way you play, and it's going to make it more difficult.
Oh, definitely. As opposed to the SR8, you really have to be a lot more movement orientated against the PSG. With them obviously being able to get off the picks a lot more easily.
Yeah, you know, the SR8, you can, like, if somebody's camping a spot with an SR8, you can rush around that corner, and if they miss that first shot, if you're a decent gun, you can be assured you're going to take them down before they get a chance to switch to sidearm or, you know, get another shot off. But with PSG, they might miss that first shot, but then they can get another shot off less than a split second later and still take you down.
Oh, completely. And in fact, like I've seen some players who rarely ever use the SR8. When they opt for a PSG, they actually start rinsing matches. Chance is one of the first person that comes to mind when I think about a PSG abuser. Though I wouldn't even say abuser. And this is just coming from pubs. I don't often ever see him take an SR8, but when he takes a PSG, it certainly used to piss me off.
Yep, yeah, and that's, yeah, same here. The PSG, it's so frustrating, but you can't really be mad at them because it's like they're playing well, you know?
Oh yeah,
like,
completely.
That's what you want, but at the same time, it's frustrating. This is a totally, and this, I'm telling you, blue side is the easier side. Look at the score difference halfway into this side. They're only up 5, and instead of like 10 already.
Yeah.
It's really, if you ask me, it's really where you spawn. The spawn in blue is so much easier to cover your flag and to get out of than the spawn in red.
Yeah, but it like you said, it really depends on where you spawn, because like the length of the spawning area from blue side, you can actually, you know, if you spawn metro side and you want to be flag side, that's not really ideal.
You know, that's true.
By the time you get to where the flag is, your stamina bar is, you're already lost half your stamina.
You know, that's a good point too, that I think a lot of people miss is, I think you know, when you're playing TS, we'll take this from a TS point of view. When you spawn, if you're playing a strat where you're sticking to positions, if you spawn on the wrong side, then it takes you longer to get to your position. A team that can be more flexible, where you go to the area you spawned at, will have the advantage, but that requires a bit more of a dynamic team play.
Completely.
We both got flag. Oh! Come on, binge and grab. Let's see you pull it home. That was a funny shot. Come on, hold out. I really would love to see Mudcats Marauders get at least 1 cap here. Oh, they did get 1 cap. How did I miss that?
I missed that too. I'm sorry, stream. I don't know what I was looking at, but I didn't see MM cap at all.
I didn't either. I can't believe we missed that. We're bad. We're bad at our jobs. I guess I'm not getting that raise this year. Oh, Vandal dropped the blue flag. Oh, he dropped it intentionally.
Both teams making a break with the flag. 50 seconds on hot potato. We often see though, like, blue team is definitely the easier side when it comes to both teams having the flag, because red has very limited options on where they can hide out with the flag. Blue having that elevated spot where Knifey is right now. Even if you get the kill on Knifey, there's no easy jump to get up here to return that flag. You almost essentially have to take the ladder. I mean, there is a jump off the phone box underneath where Knifey is, but you can't make that really quick. So you're forced to take the ladder.
And, you know, one of the places that they like to camp on red side is inside the warehouse. Whereas if you take him out in the warehouse, you're in the warehouse. You're going to be able to get him. On the blue side, even if you take him down, if the other team respawns, they're going to be looking right at you.
Right at you, exactly. And with, like, you've got a maximum of 14 seconds to return that flag, assuming you know the way respawn is just taking place.
Oh, that was a close cap. Let's see you go, binge and grab. Come on, come on, come on, go, go, go. Yeah, watch yourself. Oh!
Unfortunate.
Are they gonna return it? Wait, oh, they got it. Did his nade take her out? No, it was LR, okay.
Binge and grab without the Kevlar, making it easier for him to get away, but also making it easier for Carter to take him down on the chase. We're seeing MM like manage to get the flag quite often, but just unfortunately not able to bring it all the way back to the flag.
Yep.
They're certainly putting up a lot more of a fight this half.
Yeah, this is actually pretty good. I tell you, the other day I streamed the 10x versus it wasn't RFA. Who was it? It was one of the other American teams. But honestly, it was such a blowout. It wasn't even fun to watch, you know? I like seeing matches that are a little closer where they're, you know, a little more action.
Oh, completely. Like, although it's really exciting to watch how these professional players play, it's more exciting to watch them watch games that are like matchups against similar skill levels. And
Absolutely.
I think if this was a 5v5 situation, we would have seen possibly a more even matchup. Well, that concludes the second half, ladies and gentlemen. That's...
You know what? I give Mudcat Marauders props. At least they pulled off one flag. It wasn't a complete shutout.
It wasn't. Though it looks like they don't have their fifth just yet. And we'll be switching to the second game soon. I'm just going to leave you on... I'm going to switch back to this qualifiers panel. I'm going to cut off the stream soon while we figure out what's happening for the second match.
Yeah, that was MM versus TT. There we go. What's going on here?